a distinguished group of people deemed responsible for creating the electrical industry. Because of him, Edison electric lighting would eventually evolve into what we know today as GE, the General Electric Company.
Wow.
I also learned that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, but no mention of the famous letter to Horace Greeley in which he wrote, "My paramount objective in this struggle is to save the Union, and it is neither to save or destroy slavery. If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it." He goes on to say, "And if I could save it by freeing some and leaving others, I would also do that." See, these things weren't taught in my school or any mention that controversy even existed. If I was lucky, our school books would include a few sentences about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and George Washington Carver, whom I later found out that his scientific discoveries included more than 300 different products derived from the peanut, some 100 from sweet potatoes, about 75 from pecans. Early in my sophomore year in high school, I participated in a Black History Month program for the first time across town. The kids and teachers put on a phenomenal program. They shared names and achievements of African Americans that I had never even heard of before. When I realized how profound their contributions have been on American history, I went back to school with a little attitude. I really was proud. Shoulders went back, head went up. I remember thinking that everybody needs to hear about this. So every chance I was given to write about someone in American history that changed America, I wrote about someone of color. I didn't have to pick the usuals, as important as they were, Betsy Ross, Franklin Roosevelt, or 30 other presidents, or even Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., because you see, between my sister and my brother, we had Dr. King pretty much wore out by then. And we could probably tell you his life story in reverse without pausing. It was truly uplifting to learn that I had other choices of greatness to choose from. A long, long list of outstanding leaders, activists, doctors, writers, inventors, some even millionaires back in the 1800s. Can you believe that? Most of their names were even unfamiliar to my history teacher. So you have to ask yourself, why weren't we taught about all these people who changed history? Whether it be a white school or all black school, it was still American history. Why weren't we even encouraged to read about them? Throughout high school, I continued to lead what I called my little small plight of defiance by selecting black writers to read about, black inventors to showcase, black women entrepreneurs to model after. I wasn't always received well. In fact, some of my reports were challenged. But what did I learn from that experience? I learned if you lead change, sometimes people will fight you. Lead change anyway.
Right.
Then, if you're successful in leading change, you'll win some fast friends and you'll gain some true enemies, but succeed anyway. And when people don't want to hear any more about your black history, tell it to them anyway. As I continued my education, college was a lot different. I was able to select courses that were titled American History that dedicated just weeks and weeks to black history and even other cultures. You know, we are indeed a culture of greatness, a people of courage, persistence, and power beyond measure. We have a rich history, one of activism, pain, joy, invention, athleticism, sexism, racism, and all the other isms that you can think of. But I want to tell you today that you need to take the time to learn about your history. Tell someone, pick someone new each week in the month of February and share it with a friend, a loved one, a kid, a sibling. And guess what? If they tell you they don't want to talk about that stuff, talk it up anyway. When people say, I don't read that stuff, what you gonna say? Read it to them anyway. And when they get really tired of listening, I want you to say it like my grandma, you gon' listen anyway. Now last night I was talking to my husband and he said to me, greatness is simply an opinion. Hard work, but an opinion nonetheless. Each of us decides who's great in our eyes. Each of us get to determine what measure we place on greatness. Example, in 1940, did Nazi Germany believe that Hitler was great? Absolutely. Would that same group believe that Dr. King was just as great? Not so much. Was Dr. King always seen as great by even the majority of people in this nation? Probably not. However, his greatness is undeniable today. You see, greatness is an opinion, and it is my opinion that each and every one of us in this room has shown some measure of greatness to someone. And if you don't like that opinion, I'm going to share it anyway. There's no absolute measure for greatness. I know it's not easy to be great, but try each day to achieve it. You might spend years building something that someone can destroy overnight, but build it anyway. All right, I'm going to get y'all to join in with me in just a second. And if anyone tells you that you can't do it, I want you to stand up and do it anyway. What does it take to be great? It takes you and me to make a difference, to change a life, to be active in the community, to coach a little league team, to stay a little longer after school, to teach a young person who needs your help. It takes a Jeremiah Williams, a Juanita Jackson. It takes a Dave Gear, a Deborah Sullivan Jones, a Frank Johnson, a Ray Prescott, a George Russell, a Pastor Anderson, a VIP praise team, a Sterling Fountain, a Maggie Mejia. It takes a Ruby Kennedy. It takes everyone in this room to make a difference. Greatness is not an accident. It is the sum total of hard work, good decisions, and perseverance. And even if you've already made some mistakes, missed a few cues, it's not too late. Get up, turn around, move in a new direction, and if anyone tells you that you're moving in the wrong direction, you're going to say, what? Fine. I'm going to move anyway. Thank you all.